Howdy. It's quite a beautiful day outside. Winds are blowing. It's not 9,000 degrees. Sky's gray. And there's lightning in the clouds. Perfect day to be a Floridian. Anyways, tonight I'm going to continue this cave here in the Decahedron project. Seems I got a fair bit done last time I was here. I was told my mic was rather quiet. That's probably not a terrible thing, but anyways, it should be fixed now. And yeah, it seems like I just have this section over here to do now. So I'm gonna go ahead and lay that out and build some more cave. This is a part of the project I've been putting off for a long time. So we're gonna go ahead and get that done. Don't expect I'll be on for long tonight, but nonetheless, I'm here. Ooh, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do with this area. I would like to connect it back to over here somehow. Or actually, we could just fill in this spot right now. So you'll notice in the terrain, most of what I have done is I have made these outlines and I've just kind of filled in between them. It's not really that difficult. A little bit of practice, you can get it. And the trick is, with me, I've just done a whole lot of it, so it looks crazy. But it's really not. I was just checking my audio. Sounds good, I think. So towards the center here, this part, I want to try and bring it a step down from this block here. So like that. Because if I go up a little too high, here it might not be so big a problem, but when you do this throughout the terrain, it makes it look jagged, and that's not what we want. So we're gonna try and follow that same process back here, stand one block back. Then we'll step, honestly that looks terrible. Just fill it in. It's acceptable. There's so much terrain, I don't really even know if it matters. It'll just kind of blend in eventually. Fix up some of these spots. Right here, it's kind of a rough spot. Looks quite jagged. See if I can't do something to address that. Not really sure there's much that I can do right here. I'll just leave it be for now. Maybe one day I'll go back to that spot. Don't know. Okay, so I need to get some more ground made over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Quite a lot of blocks to place. And gotta make sure I have no holes anywhere around here. Looks pretty solid to me. There we go. Now there's a ground. Wonderful. So I don't really have this back section of the terrain planned out. There is a cave opening up here. Where that goes, I'm not really sure. Probably gonna try and bring it over to here. I presume that'll be quite difficult. And as for over here, I think I'll just try and bring it out to the end of this blue wool for the time being. And we'll open up this little intersection a fair bit. And close it in on itself over here. And a little curve at the end. Why not? Should work. Now we get some of the framing set up. So I'm going to bring this line up. And I want it to be as curvy as possible, but still able to be connected to this line over here without too much damage. Which it looks like it might be a challenge at the moment. So I'll bring it up one block more, and I might be able to work with that a little bit better. My phone is going crazy. There we go. So I'm going to bring a line up over here. I'm going to try and meet at the top of that opening. And this spot is probably going to get a little thin, but I'm going to write it off because in real caves, there are sometimes spots that get a little thin, so why not in Minecraft? You can continue making these lines. And we'll just meet that one at the top here. We'll jump one off this one. And this will give us a bit of an odd shape, but I think I can work with it. For sure. So I think I'm going to try and bring a line up here, but instead of going all the way across, I'm going to try and split it. Something like that. It'll thicken up a little around here. Now we're going to jump off this one a little bit, right over to this line. So by the way, what I am doing right now with these lines is called wireframing. So this is how you get the shape of the terrain before you fill it in with a texture or stone like this. The stone is not the final iteration of the terrain. It's kind of acting like a placeholder for the moment. This will eventually be shaded, but I suspect that is a long ways away because this is a tough project. Pretty much everything you're looking at is placed just the way I'm placing it now. Block by block. Every last one. Except for up here. This is rolled edit brushing a little bit. There's very little of that in the project. Most everything else is hand to place. And that's not even all of it. Have this little section here. Go through here. And we have this monstrosity. And this kind of set the precedent for the terrain. It's wild and spidery and very cavey. So now I'm gonna jump a line from this one over to this one. And continue on the way to the exit here. PSA once again. Don't smoke, don't vape. I wish I'd never started, and now the bugs done bit me, and for one, it's expensive. For another, it eventually starts to hurt. And as you can see behind me, I'm a scuba diver. Those two things don't go together. And yeah, I made some pretty bad decisions in my younger days. But I'm kicking them slowly one by one. Don't put yourself in that position. Anyways, we are inching closer to the exit. We're almost there, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do a full exit here just yet, because I need to plan out the rest of the terrain over here, and it's going to be another gigantic cavern, like the one at the other end of this cave. Not this way. Don't even know my own build, hey? Here we go. So it's going to be another big cavern like this one. I plan to do more than a few of those throughout this build. And the terrain comes a little bit easier to me than all of that does. Structures are quite difficult. Okay, we have some good wireframing now. Go ahead and fill it in. And maybe I hit this spot real quick with a piece of frame. I don't know what I'm really doing over here. I don't think there's another cave. There is one on this side. So maybe I should leave an entrance there. And I want to do something... Oh, the signs are... But, oh, no. I have a tutorial. It's just not here at the moment. But, I wanted to do something called the Grotto of Colors. It'll be a parkour run, making use of techniques like this, do ore veins and whatnot, and it should be pretty cool. I haven't really gotten to that part yet. I imagine it'll be quite complicated. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do a small opening over here. And we'll leave it there for one day in the future. And this is all I'm going to do tonight. It's just this section of the cave, and once this is done, I am going to show y'all something quite cool. Although I might start a separate stream for it because it can stand as its own video. It's a project a friend of mine from years ago was working on in-game. And he's long since disappeared like all your old Xbox 360 friends. But I was able to save his project before the server completely died off. And I have kept it well preserved for... well, in the hopes of one day to share it and maybe come into contact with him again, so I can give it to him too. But it's so great, I think the world needs to see it, so we'll do a separate stream for it. You can call this half-assed, I don't know. It'll be alright. I will put vegetation or something on it. Kind of like people do in real life. If something looks bad, just put a plant in front of it, and then it doesn't look bad anymore. This over here should be a lot of fun. If it looks like I'm placing things randomly, I pretty much am. Now, maybe I've done it so often over the years that I just kind of have a built-in muscle memory or something, like a reflex for doing this. I don't know. But I have taught some other people how to do this kind of terrain, and they've picked it up rather quickly. Screw some things up here and there, it comes a little jagged. But you just point that out and be like, hey, make it smoother, and people tend to get it. Okay, let's just jump a line from this one to that one. That'll keep the stonework a little bit easier. And then now I'm basically just gonna try and fill this in. One of the downsides to doing terrain this way is you can't always see what it's going to look like from the front. Sometimes you're working atop or behind it. And then you fly around and you pray to Jesus in heaven above that it looks good. And I think this section does. So we move on to the next little sections. Go ahead and knock out this one. Once again, trying to stay behind the outline for my terrain here. Sometimes I end up in front of it. It's not the end of the world, it's just not preferable. That really is my formula here. You just make a crazy line, and you start placing a stone that is sticking out behind it. So if you see, I am now starting to just go straight up, and this will make it a little bit easier to work down here below and try to get a smooth look. Not the easiest thing, but works in a pinch. I think I can break that right here, place a block here, and I can live with it. How we do over here. And you know, I'm gonna just do that for the whole thing over here. I'm gonna stack some blocks straight up. There we go. Now we can kind of get a better picture of where to go. So we're going to start off low and try to work our way up over here. So, I'll go like so. Maybe we jump down a little bit here. Yeah, we'll bring it forward one or two. And we move up here. And now I can just start capping it off. And it surprisingly looks alright. It's a good trick. Cool, cool. Oh, I missed a spot up here. Pop some blocks there. Call it a day. This will be quite the little cave system. And we're gonna have jagged terrain here, I suspect. Try and mitigate that, though I'm not really sure that I can. Well, I suppose that kind of worked. That completes pretty much this room. Looks like every other room on the build. Later on, we'll get some plant life and, I don't know, some stuff to look at that isn't just bare walls. This spot's gonna be a little tricky. Okay, we're almost to the end here. So I'm splitting off the stone here and giving myself a stone line, and I will now fill in behind this, and this should give me an interesting effect. Just a little bend in the stone. Could look terrible, might not, I don't know. I think it kind of works. Fill that in. We'll bring up another line here. Fill this in. That probably looks bad. Yep. That kind of tones it in a little bit. And there we have it. This section of the cave is done. Here's what it looks like from above. Quite the task. Much of this build has been quite the task. And yeah, I suppose this is where I'm gonna end it. I will be back in a little while with another live stream on something called the Feet Mansion. And it is quite the art installation, I would say. And I hope the dude still has his sanity after building it. Or maybe building it's how he kept his sanity. I don't know, because it's bonkers. Anyways, thank you for watching. This one was a little shorter. See you next time.